You want this one is wireless.
Yeah.
And just change it for me.
We're ready.
Howdy, y'all. Pastor Ryan at Christ South. We're building on Reed Dairy right across from the Vine Park. We worship at Polo Ridge. We are part of this community, and we care and love for it as you do. And what we want is to bring God into it. So why don't we pray with me now, would you? Heavenly Father, God Almighty, of heaven and earth and everything in between, thank you, Lord, for this day. That we could come together, that we might discern your will for Wednesday. Lord, bless all of our elected officials and all of those gathered here, that we might bring you glory, you might guide us, and that together we might make the world a better place. In Jesus' name we pray now and forever. Amen.
Thank you very much. Thank you very much, Pastor.
Yeah.
It is now
Okay. I know you're busy. Can you
7
email me
o'clock.
later? I'd love to get a cup of coffee.
And we'll begin our meeting with the Pledge of Allegiance. Would you all please stand for the pledge? I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. And I think I know we have a quorum, everyone's present. So ask the council, are there any additions, deletions, or adjustments to the agenda? And if not, I look for a motion to adopt the agenda as presented.
So moved.
Motion's been made. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Those opposed, no. The ayes have it. We'll proceed first with mayor and council reports. Councilmember Arian.
The only thing I need to mention is that at the last Western Union Alliance meeting, Mr. Joyce, the professor from the School of Government, was not able to make it due to a family emergency. However, he is rescheduled to be at our meeting this month, the 28th, on Thursday at 4 o'clock. We'll be meeting at Wesley Chapel Town Hall. And again, the subject will be extraterritorial jurisdiction. And we'll try to learn about that and see what we can discern.
Councilwoman Crowe. Councilman.
No report.
I have two things. One is my monthly coffee with the mayor is Thursday, the 21st of April. Come one, come all. I'll have coffee and cookies and water. I'm interested to hear what's on your mind. No holds barred, as they say, no subject, no agenda. Just come and share your views with me, and I can share them with council members and others, so that we make sure that we keep an open communication with everyone. The other thing I'd like to mention is that, as published, tomorrow is a work session of the Mayor and Town Council. We're dealing with a couple of things. Has nothing to do with tonight's public hearing. No, we're not going to be talking about Weddington Green. We're working on taking a look at our form of government. How we, Weddington, govern ourselves, and are we using the best process? And then there's a couple of other issues that have been kind of hanging for a while. Let me take a quick check and see if there's anything in particular to bring your attention. Of course, if I had skinnier fingers, I could find it more quickly. We're going to talk a little bit about the budget, ARP funds, grant funds, and we're going to talk about the budget and consultants. And of course, council comments always. So that'll be at the town hall tomorrow, starting at 9 o'clock in the morning. That's all I have. With that, we're moving to a public safety report. Do we have?
Deputy Crop.
I cannot see beyond the first row.
Deputy Crop.
Is Deputy Crop here? Yeah, here he comes.
Stand up here, down here.
Someone fall.
I know, Mr. Paul.
Good evening, my name is Deputy Croft. I'm one of the deputies assigned to the town of Weddington. During the past month of March, we increased our traffic enforcement in some of the areas around Weddington. We did about 200 plus traffic stops during the month. We will continue to monitor the school zones in the mornings and afternoons. If you have a specific traffic complaint regarding traffic violations, things like that, please contact the town hall or reach out to me by email. My email is on the town hall website. We are trying to put out to the community that April is Distracted Driving Awareness Month. And during the one day, we have about 700 injured and 8 people killed nationwide in distracted driving. And the thing that we wanted to point out is it happens everywhere. During the month of March, 2 o'clock in the afternoon, about time to the elementary school to let out, I stopped the car on Weddington Road at Cox Road at 90 miles an hour. So we're out here and we are, there won't be any warnings when you get that kind of speed. And unfortunately, this person hadn't had their driver's license very much and probably won't have it very long. We have put some information for the distracted driving in the newsletter under the Deputy's Corner, and it's sponsored by the National Safety Council. It's their initiative. And we're also encouraging everyone that's going out of town for spring break to put their homes on residential checks. And the form is located on the town hall's website. And you can do that if you're going to be going out of town, so you can check your homes while you're out of the area. Thank you.
Thank you, Deputy Croft. I have one other thing to add that I did not cover in the report of the Mayor and Council. Weddington High School Marching Band has been invited to participate in the Pearl Harbor Day events in Honolulu, Hawaii. This is a huge honor. So we are, of course, very proud of the Weddington High School Marching Band, but as you might imagine, it's not a cheap trip. So we're trying to raise some funds. If you go to Weddington High School website, there's also, I believe there's a link to the band fundraising. We also put a link to it on the Weddington Town of Weddington website, so that hopefully we can raise enough money so that all the kids can participate in this incredible opportunity. Only one high school band per state has been invited, and not all the states participate. So this is a huge opportunity for Weddington. It's a huge opportunity for the students, and it certainly reflects very well on our communities. We hope that you'll support the Weddington High School Marching Band. With that, we are at the consent agenda. We have 2 items on the consent agenda, which are the meeting minutes from March 14th and release of the roadway and performance bonds. All that information was in your packet. The enclave has met all the requirements, so this is pretty perfunctory. I will take a motion to approve the consent agenda as proposed.
So moved.
Motion's been made. Any discussion? Seeing none, all those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Those opposed, no. The ayes have it. Consent agenda is passed. We're now going to open the public hearing with a presentation by the developer. Now, we haven't seen this presentation ourselves either, so we're going to take a minute and have the council's going to move down front so that we can see.
Should we do the presentation first and then continue to open?
Yeah,
The
we're not opening the.
Well, according to council, the process is we open the public hearing and we begin the public hearing with comments from the developer with their changes.
Okay.
So with that, I'm going to excuse myself. Should have told you, I'm sorry.
Good evening. My name is Tom Waters. I'm with Provident Land in Charlotte. A few quick introductions. Chris Person Dillard with Providence here as well, Brian Janess and Madison Tansey up there on the stage, over Cole Janess and Stone, they're our site planners. So, Andrew Eagle over here with Brandon Kemp that did our traffic consulting. So thank you again for the privilege of presenting the vision for Weddington Green to some of you again, some of you perhaps for the first time. During this process, and I've done this for a living, I guess, all my life, we love to listen. We want to hear, listen, and where we can, we want to make changes and improvements and apply what we're able to. So that the plan that we come up with is thought about through the community as well as the consultants, as well as us as the developers. So maybe the first slide. So Weddington Green. This is some of our team. We've been busy at it for probably 18 months or so. We've done site assessments, wetlands evaluation, soil studies, historical designations. We've just done the whole gamut on wanting to be sure that we have all the property completely understood. There's 81 total acres here. I like to think of myself as the shepherd of quality land. In this situation, we're representing 3 different families' property, one back to 1883, the Matthews family, then the Short family, and the King family from the 1940s. So it's a combination of those 3 property owners is what Weddington Green is all about. One thing I just want to put in perspective, most of you here, a lot of you here have lived in Weddington for 15, 20, 30, 36 years and longer perhaps. I just want to say up front, Weddington's a beautiful town. I 100% respect what Weddington's history is, how it's been over time, 100%. This map is just to illustrate that 17 square miles, that's what the incorporated Weddington town is at the moment. If you see the convergence of Providence Road and Weddington Road, 2 of the busier roads in Union County, that's where your existing town hall is, your existing town center. And then just below that, just behind the cemetery, you see what the land that would make up Weddington Green, the 81 acres. What is that? That's the green. Yes, it's so green. Anyway, when I was first introduced to this property maybe 2 years ago, I saw this location and said, wow, wouldn't this be a great opportunity to expand the town center, make Weddington Corners perhaps a little bit shot in the arm, a little bit more vibrant, and bring a location for perhaps a park area for the town of Weddington. So that's what this is all about on my side. We want to bring a quality development to Weddington that has some nice homes that are primarily intended for age targeted to the older folks, particularly master bedrooms down and such. We want to bring a Main Street concept, which Brian's going to share more here in a minute, to bring some farm-to-table restaurants, some nice restaurants to town, perhaps a special grocery store that would bring different kinds of foods there. Nothing to compete with Harris Teeter, just to complement what's being offered there. Perhaps a bakery, perhaps a wine shop, just all kinds of thoughts and choices there. Many of you in the room have participated in some of the surveys over time and have actually brought some of these suggestions to the forefront. We'd like to have some medical office and some office there as well. One of the thoughts is that you could actually live in Weddington Green and have your dental practice or your doctor's practice right there in one of the new buildings on Main Street. So let's see, keep going there. Okay. Brian and I are kind of tag teaming here, so we'll step in and out to give you information so that we can share it all with you.
Thank you, Tom. Many of you all have seen some of these slides, so I'll go through them rather quickly. Again, so there's some existing conditions around your town hall. This is where most of your community events take place, and you'll see as we talk about the new park, we're hoping some of these things, if not all of them, could move over there. Next one, please. Just some background information that helps us provide us information as we're putting together plans for places like this. This is an Urban Land Institute study that was done in 2005 that talks about the need for the things that we're going to be talking about today, parks, open space, a variety of housing. Next slide, please. Same thing in 2009, another study was done that consisted of a committee of local citizens, elected officials, and community leaders. It again talks about similar things this time. There was an amphitheater added, talks about the types of commercial that could be appropriate here, and specifically talks about retirement residential. And then we did a citizen survey in 2018, which talks about, again, some of the same things. So, and I won't go through them all again, but this is some of the background material that we've used in coming up with this plan. Just wanted to show you sort of the progression of the plan. You know, we started, as Tom said, about 18 months ago. And really the major changes are down on the left and right side of each one of the plans. We did have an active retirement adult proposal, which is that. Oh, actually, I have this right here. You can see how it morphed into that. So that is the single family. And then some of the layout has changed with the incorporation of additional open space. Just a few highlights of the plan, and then we're going to talk in a little bit more detail. Right now, there is 1 acre zoning, which would allow up to, it says 84, it's actually 88 lots, would be allowed on zoning, if that could be accommodated. Typically, it would be these kinds of houses that you have here in Weddington. But what we're talking about is the creation of a park, a new village center, and then a type of residential that doesn't exist here today. And I'm going to talk more about that. And here is the overall plan. And it really begins right here at Town Hall. This is Weddington Road, the roundabout, and this is Providence Road, to orient everyone. Here's the Methodist Church. So it begins in the heart of the property with an 8.5 acre park that is bound by a linear park that leads over toward the commercial center here, and then a greenway trail and park that leads both north and south. This is the commercial center, again, the village center that is right out of Providence, and then we have a variety of single-family detached and attached residential. So we'll start by talking about the park. We're calling it Central Park because it is a central park. This is the hub of the entire neighborhood. We've heard over and over again in talking to both elected leaders and folks in town and looking at the documentation, as I said, that Weddington would really like to see. Excuse me? Oh, I got somebody good here. Would like to see a Central Park. So the Central Park involves, it's a beautiful sort of creek that runs through the middle, which will be kind of the heart of it with the bridge. We have a children's playground proposed. We have an amphitheater proposed. There's some beautiful existing trees that I'll show you a little bit later on. We propose a picnic area and then a couple of ponds here that would be water features along with quite a bit of open space. It would be a passive park where lots of great events could take place. And now I think we're going to show you a video of the site. And for those of you who were here last time, this is new. So this is starting at the town hall, going by what would be the linear park, the main street over at Lenny Stadler. This is showing the Weddington Park in general. Everything that's in this green will be preserved as part of that greenway trail system around the creek system. This would be the amphitheater, I believe, is going to show up right in this general area. The trail systems throughout the park coming down to the bridge. So that's what is Weddington Park. All of this land that you're seeing in this picture is protected as part of the park area, a lot of trees. This is the area where the picnic table would be. We're saving about 12 large oak trees on the site, and that's 3 of them right there where we have the picnic tables. Century oaks.
Any more trees we can do?
Yes, about 44% of the whole site will be preserved as green space.
go to the next one, please?
Where
And
all the
then
houses
here,
going?
I'm sorry,
On the video, where are all the houses going?
they're around there.
Where else?
Okay, and then I just wanted to show you some existing, visuals of what we would hope to, accomplish. We're planning a gazebo to go also in the park. There'll be some trails you can see for people to walk and cycle. Also, I mentioned the, playground, which Tom proposes to build on site here amongst the trees. And then there'll be a pedestrian bridge crossing over the creek, and the water features will be, enhanced.
Just while we're looking at the water features, we have about 7 of these water retention, water quality ponds on the site. All of these are put in place under the state's erosion control mandate as for how we protect land and prevent erosion. So as it relates to coming into the creek system, we'll have 7 of these pond systems that we'll put in place. The 2 Brian's talking about will actually have a water spray feature for aesthetic cosmetic purposes in the park area.
And then the, existing creek is not in very good shape. There's a lot of erosion, so we will do a complete stream restoration. And you can see sort of an existing stream and then what happens after it's restored. In the park, we would imagine lots of events could occur. Food truck Fridays would occur, something that's to occur here. Again, all kinds of events surrounding the amphitheater. Music in the park, a farmer's market, arts and crafts markets, whatever is appropriate to the town of Whittington. But these are the kinds of things that would occur. And then this is an actual image that we have created this is what we would be proposing for the amphitheater. So you can see this sort of stadium seating that would have lawn between it, and then of course there would be the amphitheater down at the bottom for the performances. You can barely see up here. This is the main street coming in. These would be some of the shops that would be up at the top of the hill. And that is actually right there. Now we're going to talk about the village center. And again, we're going to show you some new images of this, which you haven't seen. We've developed this a little further. It begins with the creation of a village green. Originally, this building sat up on the street. So we've now created another green space that would be very active as it relates to this larger space here. These are just some images of how this could occur. Again, a variety of signage and pots and plants and of architecture that would be in keeping with this kind of scale. Same kind of thing, we would see a lot of activity along the street. You can see the flower baskets that Tom's talked a lot about, the signage, the light poles, again, examples of the kind of places that we would be creating. More on the architecture. There's one building that hopefully could overlook the green, and if we had a restaurant up there, this would be a great view overlooking the park. And again, tables and chairs, lots of hopefully dining and eating, a variety of materials. And now we're going to show you some actual examples. These are actually images that the architect has created of the kind of place we're talking about and what the architecture could look like. This is that new green that I talked to you about. This is the main street. This is the park over here. Providence Road would be down at this end, and this is the new small town green that we would create.
If you quit moving that pointer all around, or try to keep it stationary instead of swinging all around, that's distracting.
Okay.
Please, sir.
We'll do. Again, here's an image of the green from across the street looking towards it, but you can see the nature of the building, the kind of materials we'll be looking at. Pinehurst is one of the towns that we used as a sort of a model. Someone had mentioned last time, Rolling Rock, that's another really good one. This is again an example of what the green could look like with some, trellises and some swings. You can see a lot of folks on the street. This hopefully would be the kind of place that people could come and spend an afternoon or part of the day, do some shopping, maybe have lunch, go over to the park, and we really see this as a huge community amenity. And again, just another example of, you can see what's happening. I'll try to limit this, what's happening up above here. You might have a second story. You can see the planting and the signage and all very pedestrian friendly. This is the green at night. It's a little hard to see now. that there could be some great night events here, also maybe movies on the thing. But again, these are the actual images of what this place could look like, or would look like. And then this is an image of the building out at Providence Road. Providence Road would be right here to our left. This is the main street going through, and this would be one of the buildings that would flank the two corners of Providence Road. And then this last one, I believe this is the last one. There's some beautiful existing trees down at toward the park that we have worked to play around, and this is an image of what the hopeful brewery could look like. Tom has been talking to several breweries about coming to Weddington, and they're interested in, so this is an image of what that could look like. And here's another image of that area looking back down Main Street toward Providence Road. This is a food truck, and again, you can see lots of activity there. Okay, so that's the main street, and then I want to talk about the residential. We have a variety of single-family residential surrounding the park. Again, age-targeted, small lot, but high quality. And then this is attached residential that would be located in this, all for sale. Next slide, and I'll show you some examples of what that would look like. Again, a variety of materials, architecture, traditional architecture. Again, these houses are not small. They would be very expensive, I'm sure, but they would be on smaller lots to accommodate the empty nest.
What is the target price point for all of those?
Should I answer questions now, sir?
We'll hold that.
Okay, we'll hold that. Again, variety of housing and materials. You can see brick porches, and all kinds of landscaping, heavy landscaping. And then there was discussion about the schools. Again, I showed you this slide last time that talks about the capacity in the schools. Again, this is 2022. Grade Elementary, you can see, is at 84% capacity. The capacity actually increases as we go from 25 to 30. Weddington Middle School right now is above capacity, 112, and you can see the capacity will increase as we get on toward 2030, and that shows 92%. The capacity increases, and the capacity increases. Yeah. And the same thing with Weddington High School right now, it's at 103, and it would be going down 99 or essentially 100, and then down into the 90s by 2030. That information came from the school system. Okay, and so there's been a lot of discussion about Waverly. When we talked about this last week, just wanted to show you the Waverly plan. It's a very different kind of place than what we're proposing here. This is a regional commercial mixed-use center at an interstate. It has 514,000 square feet of commercial, plus 141 rooms. We're at 137. It has the multifamily is 463 units, and it has over 2,800 parking spaces. We have about 600. It has a third of an acre park. We have an 8-acre park. So this is not anything like what we're proposing. This also has drive-throughs, which are prohibited in our plan. The parking is behind the buildings, not in front of the building. So I would suggest to you that this is nothing like Waverly. But it is actually much more in keeping with what you might see in downtown Waxhaw or Blowing Rock. It's been discussed, and also in downtown Davidson. In terms of the scale and the size, this is Waxhaw, which is about 3 blocks long in its historic area, and it, by our calculations, about 135,000 square feet, which is similar to what you have. Downtown Bend is about 1,000 feet. We're at about 700 feet of street. Davidson is about 1,000 feet in length and about 157,000 square feet. So those two are much more comparable to the kind of place we're creating. Traffic and transportation, of course, is a part of this discussion, and in any project of this size, there's a traffic impact analysis performed, which we have done, and the 3 access points are what has been studied, as well as the railroad intersection. And the The improvements will be turn lanes at Wheatberry Hill and the new intersection, the new entrance into this neighborhood. Improvements at the roundabout, which include a right turn onto Weddington Matthews, and also, an additional lane around the roundabout. We also have turn lanes proposed at Lenny Stadler and Providence Road, and there's also a northbound Providence Road right turn lane at, Regular. Okay. Next. There's been discussion about the connection and the importance of the connection between the existing commercial and the proposed. And we talked last time about the creation of and the implementation of a flashing beacon. And this is an example of it, and we actually have a little video to show you how it works. This is a private school right here.
Where is that?
This is in Davidson at I-77. And this is, the beacon is flashing, and as soon as it flashes, the cars immediately stop and the people cross the street. And then as soon as it's finished, they cross over. There are many of them in Charlotte too. That was new.
Do they have as much traffic as Highway 84? Keep going.
Okay, we're almost at the end here. Okay, one more slide. And the last slide I want to show you is this one. This is, of course, our hope for the kind of place that we're creating, where you can have all these wonderful events.
This is a dog park community.
And no, that's just an example of the kind of place that we're talking about creating, where there are lots of children and adults and lots of fun and events. And I'm going to read you two parts of your zoning ordinance and talk about the justification for this. And these are directly out of the land use goals. Number 7 of 7 says, through the conditional zoning process, provide smaller lot sizes to accommodate a variety of age and income groups and broader residential preferences so that the community's population diversity may be enhanced directly from your land use plan. The last one, from your land use policies, actually not the last one, number 9, ensure that the scale and design of commercial development is consistent with the unique small town character of Weddington. Limit such development to small scale retail and service businesses serving town residents and surrounding communities, particularly specialty shops and restaurants, and prohibit large-scale regional and service commercial establishments. Provide for open space preservation in new and/or expanded commercial developments. And that's exactly what we provide. Thank you.
And basically, in conclusion, we'll be available to answer questions if anybody has that through the council here for sure. I just wanted to mention, one of the hopes is that this particular intersection at Providence Road and Weddington Road could serve as a gateway expansion, if you will, to the existing Weddington Corner Center and the town hall to enhance the downtown concept for Weddington. And the park could be a very, very great place for you as a community to come together to get to know your neighbors a little bit better over time and sponsor events together. I can see it filled right now. So thank you all very much.
We're gonna need to see the speaker, so I'm moving this over. I'm talking about, I think, we want to see who's speaking, but not.
Yeah, we'll do that one.
Yeah, move it here.
Okay, someone's gonna have a list for me. We're gonna ask you, when you come to the microphone, please identify yourself. Come to the microphone here to my right, your left, or perhaps straight in front of you.
Here's one of them.
And yes, when you speak, this is being recorded, so we'll ask you to please introduce yourself with your name and address. And you'll be given 3 minutes. We have a clock that will be right pretty much in front of you, and it'll ding when the 3 minutes is up. Is that correct?
Yes, sir.
And remember, we want to give as many people as we can to speak, so we're going to ask you to please be cognizant of that. And then I'm going to ask you one more thing. You know, my daddy used to tell me there's never, ever, never an excuse for bad manners. And I'm not anticipating anybody's going to be using bad manners, but it's always nice to get a reminder. This is a big deal for Weddington. We understand that. We understand that emotions run high. They do on both sides of this table. So we come here as an opportunity for you to talk to us and us to listen. There'll be questions, no doubt, but we're going to ask you to you can voice your questions, but we're not going to get into a discussion, so to speak. We're here to listen to you. Mr. Waters and his team will stick around to answer direct questions from you. And let me tell you what's going to happen next. Most of you know we're not taking a vote tonight. This is an opportunity for us to continue to listen to the folks in Weddington. The next step is that the council has not yet had an opportunity to work with itself, to talk to each other, and to question the developer and talk with the developer. So we're going to schedule a work session open to the public when we sit down with the developer. It's not a public participation meeting. It's our turn to start asking questions and getting answers and seeing what we can come up with. And then in May, the second Monday in May is our regular scheduled meeting. That's the earliest unless there's a change, that's the earliest we're going to take a vote. So there's plenty of opportunity yet to be heard. If for some reason there's folks listening in that we're not able to make it tonight, as I said earlier, please send your remarks in. They'll be entered in the public record. We're going to read it all. Many of you have already found my phone number and both my home number and my mobile number and we've received, as you can imagine, more than a couple of emails. So please keep them coming. This is what participatory government is all about. This is how it's supposed to work. So with that, I'm going to start down the list, and our first person is Ray Butler. Ray, would you please come on up? Come to the mic, introduce yourself with your address. We're anxious to hear from you.
Thank you. My name is Ray Butler. I live in Highgate, in Wellington. I was hoping that you'd have the members of the planning committee here this evening as well. Are they present or not?
I have no idea that this is passed out of the hands of the planning board. It's now in the hands of the.
Sorry, I haven't started it.
What was that?
I haven't started it yet. Sorry, it went to sleep.
He hasn't started speaking yet.
Okay, I'd like to ask then the town council and also the planning board members, if you or any of your family members or business associates own or have any financial interest in the land within or adjacent to this proposed development.
Well, if they had any financial interest, they would have been required to say so and recuse themselves from consideration and voting.
Okay, thank you. And my second question is, for the record, I was going to ask if the planning board members could tell us their current occupation, their business ownership, and or their corporate responsibility. Is it possible to get that information?
I don't know that that's necessarily public, or I don't know, is that available? Is that public information?
I don't think the town has that information.
Town does not have that information.
Okay.
And so there's no record that the town can provide for you, until the app, take the planning board members yourself to make it.
Okay, well, I've looked at public data, and one of your planning board members is a real estate agent, Coldwell Banker, and another one is a Charlotte Metro Director of Land Development for American Homes for Rent. And the third one is a real estate property developer with an active business called North South Real Estate LLC. And I asked, is this not a conflict of interest to have these people making this decision?
Just to let you know, the planning board does not have a decision-making role in this process. They are advisory only. The town council has, over the years, paid some attention and paid no attention. So, I appreciate your points, but, the planning board doesn't actually play a role in the decision of whether this project goes forward. And that's the whole thing is, take up all the time you want. The next person to speak is Rob Wilder. Mr. Wilder, come on.
Point of order.
No, sir, we're trying to move forward on this public hearing, but thank you anyway. Mr. Wilder, you're recognized.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor and members of the council. Thank you for the opportunity to speak to you. My name is Rob Wilder. I'm a lawyer. My address is 3501 Monroe Road in Charlotte. I represent the Topalian family, the families that they have. 3 minutes is not a very long time for me to try to make all my points, so I'm probably going to have to talk too fast and still won't get done. But the 4 points that I think are my best 4 points for why you should not grant this application are, one, I would say the first principles, and that is that 2,700 people, which I believe to be at least half of the adult population of this town, have signed a petition during the age of cancel culture, when people don't want to have their names associated with anything. And they've come forward and said, we don't want you to do this. And I think that that's the best reason for you not to do it. The second one is, as things stand, there's a lot of things we just don't know yet. There's not enough information for you to make such a dramatic change to the character of the town, in my view. One thing that I know is that the Board of County Commissioners has declined to grant permission to hook to the sewer tie-in. That to me should mean that the project ought to stop. We don't know what the traffic impact is going to be, and we haven't had a chance to evaluate that. There's a schematic drawing, which, to my understanding, would allow unknown modifications as long as, quote, minimum ordinance plans are met. There are other issues that haven't been resolved. And to me, it's premature to do this. And with the matters that are unresolved, the town gets this part, but the unresolved issues aren't resolved. And to me, that makes it look like contract zoning instead of conditional zoning, and I think that's problematic. Third, and related to the last point, I hired an investigator who looked at a number of issues, and she discovered that when this project started, the developers met with council and met with the planning board, and that the size of this project was at least twice what it currently is, leading us to the belief that there's a phase 2 in this project. And in my opinion, you have to look at this. Okay, I'm out of town. So you need to look at that. And as of today, your developer has outstanding, if you look at the judgment rolls in 3 counties of his companies, $2.4 million worth of debt, liens and judgments. And to me, if you're going to change the character of the town, you need to take a hard look at the solidity of his finances.
My name's Annette Baker, and I live in Grayland. I've been here for 30 plus years. I moved here because this is a unique place to live. We had a 1 acre lot, small town. If you want that type of growth, then move in any direction, less than 10 miles, and you can get those things that they're wanting to do. I mean, the developer said it tonight. He kept comparing our town to Waxhaw and to Davison. Well, if I wanted that, I would have moved to one of those towns. I wanted Tuskegee. They also said that we're a small town. So if we're that small, go do this development somewhere else, because we don't take up that much room in Union County. I'm also concerned about, he's talking about the parks and having flowers and all this other stuff. All I see is my tax dollars going up. We moved here because we like the tax rate. We don't want a bunch of things that we have to maintain, because once it gets put in, it has to be maintained. That's going to be our taxes going up. Thank you.
Chris Martin.
Hi, my name's Chris Martin. I live at 6403 Antioch Court in Weddington Oaks neighborhood. I've lived here for 15 years. I have 3 kids that have gone through the Weddington school system. The last is in high school this year. I'm very much against this rezoning. I feel like it has been a little bit, or lacks transparency in how this has been presented to our town. It seems like the commitments that were made during the campaign to adhere to the land use plan and the UDO have been stretched in order to accommodate this developer's introduction of this land, or this plan. If you look at the land use plan and the UDO, it clearly states that we like low density housing with 1 acre lots or RCD. We have a commercial center that has been identified and is zoned for commercial. This is not that piece of property. The developer likes to cherry pick a survey which gave some things like we want a nice restaurant or farm to table restaurant, or a boutique shops, or a specialty grocery store, which, by the way, we have all within 5 miles. You can go to Fresh Market, you can go to Whole Foods. We don't need another one. The section of the UDO, section 58.2.2, section 14, the section says prevent overcrowding of land. And if you look at that plan, it is overcrowded as we're defining it today. It's unfair for us to listen to campaign promises from our elected officials who are supposed to represent this community. Right, yes. And then they say, well, we're going to take it into consideration what you want, but we'll make the decision for you. That's how it feels. I'm not saying that's how it is, and I hope that's not how it is, but that's how it feels when you roll out this nice little project here and you tell us we're going to have nice lamps and we're going to have a great amphitheater. There's no place to go to the bathroom there, by the way, which should have been addressed last time. I'm glad the developer toned down his comparisons between Waxhaw and Davison, because quite honestly, we want Weddington. You guys said keep Weddington, and that is not what this is. This is Waxhaw, this is Davison, this is Blowing Rock, this is Hilton Head. I don't know what it is, but it's not Weddington. They're going to target age 55 and up. Why do you have 5 bedrooms if you're 55 and up and your kids are leaving? That is disingenuous. If they were true about that, they would say age restricted. That will put more pressure on the schools that has the opportunity to move kids that are in Weddington today to other schools. And if you've been through redistricting here, it's not fun, and it's a lot of stress on the entire community. You guys have taken the land use plan and the planning board, and you accepted it, and that's not right. And I hope you make the right decision and vote against it. Thank you.
Mr. Holton.
Hello, my name is Ryan Holstein. I live in the town of Weddington. I'm for this development. The town of Weddington has no schools. We don't do roads. There's no water, there's no sewer, there's no park. There is no community. This will provide us with a community. It costs $8,600 for a child in Union County to go to school. My property taxes are not half of that. Without the commercial development, we will not have tax revenue to do anything, let alone send our children to school. This is just good. Without this development and more commercial developments throughout Union County, our taxes are only going to go up. We have houses for 4 or 5 people in each home. My neighbors have 5 kids. Their property taxes do not cover 5 kids to go to school. That's all I have to say there.
Thank you very much. Thank you, Ms. Holden. Mr. Mike Maxon. Mr. Maxon, here he comes.
Mayor and council, my name is Mike Maxon. I live at 7097 High Meadow Drive with my wife, Mary Ann. I've been a resident of Weddington for 27 years. My wife has been a resident for 39 years. Through the years, we witnessed that every individual that ran for local office campaigned on the promises of maintaining the principles of the original Weddington zoning of R40, 1 acre per home, and no commercial development outside the town center. Every public official that campaigned on those promises, including you, you have backed out on those promises with this escapade of a project, and it's just not acceptable. You need to live up to the campaign promises and maintain the zoning ordinances that we have. Also, there's a lot of fluff that's been discussed about this park, this Weddington Green Park. And keep saying the man that's here just said there's no park. Well, I need to inform you that there is a park a quarter of a mile down the road called Optimus Park. It's been there since 1984, started with 1 ball field with dedicated people to serve our children. Today, it's 34 acres and serves thousands of children, and the town of Weddington provides no municipal funds for the support of that park. 2 years ago, former Mayor Bill Dieter approached the council at that time and asked for funding to help support the all-volunteer park, and the council at that time declined to support the only park in the town of Weddington. I'm not real happy with that. We serve thousands of kids over here from Weddington, Wesley Chapel, and Marvin. It's the only park around here that has this kind of a state-of-the-art facility. And what I encourage you to do is to just put this mess to the side and focus on the assets that you have in this town and consider supporting Optimus Park and the families that are using it now. Thank you.
I can't hear you.
Chilcott.
Good evening. My name is Harry Chilcott, and I live in Red Fox Run. And my son graduated from this high school. And I have been proud to say for 34 years that I have been a resident of Weddington. And it even makes me happier when people ask me where Weddington is. But Mr. Mayor, I read the interview you gave to Molly Morgan at the Enquirer Journal last week. You quoted as saying, "I am trying to determine what is the best interest of Weddington, not just how now, but 10 to 15 years from now." You don't determine that. The voters who elected you based on your campaign promises determine that. You are like the rest of the council and not following your campaign promises. You said additional commercial development could improve the Weddington tax base. I'm sure, at least I hope, you know that the tax rate is 4.8% or cents, the same for residential and commercial. Are you planning on raising taxes on our businesses? I was extremely disappointed and offended when you said as mayor, the issues are not as complex, but being mayor of a small town is like Facebook on steroids. Other things you said, opposition to Weddington Green is my way or the highway. Naysayers have gained the bully pulpit. You and the council are being bullied. People are being aggressive towards you and the council. I'm saying this is with great respect, so as not to offend or bully you. But have you ever been threatened, physically attacked, or yelled at? I know are we bullies if we voice our concerns? Are we to be passive and obedient and let the mayor and council ignore the vision of the land use plan and determine what's best for our community? If this rezoning and development plan is so ideal, why did the town council and planning committee go to such lengths to hide the ball under them so that it was for so long? This project still doesn't have a complete TIA for the town to review. That's the first step to even accept an application to go to the planning board. Also tonight, I find there are more changes to the plan. I believe this is the second or third change since it was approved by the planning board last month. It's time for Mr. Waters to show a final plan and finalize the TIA and start this process over again.
Any else?
My name is Danny Ellis, and I've lived in Weddington for 13 years. Most of what I want to say has already been said, but I still do have a couple things I want to say to the council and the mayor. I have carefully researched the platforms that you folks are on. How any of you, and not only that, I met with you personally, Mr. Mayor, and got your views on development and made a nice campaign contribution to your campaign. How any of you could ever vote to approve this is beyond me. And as for this being targeted, which what the heck is targeted towards seniors, I've been developing apartments and properties for senior citizens for 40 years. This ain't anywhere close. 4, 5 bedrooms, and I have them walk across our main road out here. I don't know my mom and her walk going across there. No matter how good that traffic is. It's unconscionable that some of the things that have been proposed here have been proposed, and it would be more unconscionable for any of you to vote to approve. Thank you.
Rebecca Hoffman. I think it's happening. Please correct me if I've gotten your name wrong, and I apologize if I have.
Mr. Meredith Hefner, that's a married name. You know the
I'm sorry.
Go ahead. I'll start.
Council, good evening. My name is Rebecca Hefner. I would like to offer my support for this proposal. You guys hear me okay, or no? I live at 122 Weddington Church Road. I have lived in the town of Weddington my entire life. My mom's lived here, grew up here. Her mom grew up here. My family has lived in Weddington for 150 years. Before Weddington, of course, lived in Weddington. I have a lot to say on this topic, so I plan to submit a statement for the record, but I just want to touch on a quick few highlights and offer some support for this proposal. Like I said, I'm the fifth generation, or I am the fifth generation to grow up, of my family to grow up in Weddington. I, of course, attended the Weddington school system, first Wesley Chapel, and then I was first fifth grade class at Weddington Elementary. I attended UNC Charlotte, and then after graduation, I actually moved to DC for 10 years to pursue a professional career. And in 2020, I made the decision to move back to Weddington as a single person at 35, or then 33. A single person, I moved in with my parents, and with the intent of helping to take over our family business, which is the Hunter Farm. Many of you may be familiar with that, which is, of course, in downtown Weddington. Since then, I re-met, and married my now husband. He also grew up in Weddington, just down Providence Road from me. We plan to restore a home in Weddington, and an old family home, and to raise a family here. So I say all of that as a younger person, that this place is important to me. I gave up a successful career to move back to Weddington to raise a family, now with my husband. In my 35 years, I've seen a lot of changes, but something I am proud of, I'll say, is that Weddington has always taken a thoughtful approach to development. I do believe that this fits in with a thoughtful approach. What I think has always been lacking, we didn't have it when I was growing up, we still don't have it, is a place to go. Like, there is no place to go in Weddington. I hear a lot about a downtown or a small town feel. There isn't a downtown. So, right now, sorry. This proposal offers a public green space, retail, thoughtful areas to spend time with your family, spend money in your town. Those are things that I think for people who support support small downtowns, like that's something that you should be proud of. I also believe this proposal supports the current land use plan. As a fifth generation resident, I urge the council to support it. If I have just a moment, I'd like to just address something. Yeah. Okay. I'll submit it to the record. I hear you. Thank you. I'll submit it to the record, but the Hunter Farm will never be developed. I just want to leave you with that.
Thank you.
And I'd be happy to get back to the public record too. We're in a conservation easement. Sorry.
Thank you, Becca. Kelly Myers.
Kelly Myers, live in Weddington. I've only been here a year, so I'm not gonna have the history of that, but I think it's better because you know why? Because I picked this, and I could have picked anywhere I wanted to. And I picked it for those specific reasons. Here's the bottom line. We focused everything of his presentation on the park, and that's great salesmanship. Because who doesn't want a park? The problem is everything that goes along with it to get the park. And that lies the problem. The traffic is going to be worse. We all know that. It doesn't fit with the plan. You're having to make an exception to the plan in order to allow this to go through. The price is too high to get a park. That's what it boils down to. And lastly, we're a democratic republic. You guys are representing us. That's all it boils down to. The overwhelming majority of the people are against it. There's always going to be somebody for it, but the overwhelming majority of the people are against it. Everybody knows this. You all know this. We all know this. So the bottom line is, if the overwhelming majority of the people in this town are against it, that's all that really should matter.
Jim Conroy.
Yes, and I'm also recommending. So I live at 3209 Hartford Lane. Good evening, Mayor Warren, council members. Contrary to what some may believe, this town was not founded on 1+ acre lots. Weddington began in 1842 and was known for its large family farms with community focus around the local church and school. The downtown center is located at the crossroads of Providence Road and Highway 84, just as it is today. There was a sawmill, a local grocer, and a few country homes, some of which are still visible. As owners of these family farms aged and passed on, the land heirs began to sell off parcels for development. Without sewers or poor soils and lack of infrastructure, the town had no choice but to use septic systems on 1+ acre lots. As growth continued in Union County, the building of infrastructure followed, bringing water and sewer to the once closed-off areas of Weddington. Large tracts of land then were sold, and subdivisions we see today were born. The remaining large parcels scattered about Weddington are what are left of the family farms from 180 years ago. Many of these ancestors are committed to the preservation of their land, which comes at a great yearly expense. Though as these owners age, the land preservation often becomes more difficult and they look to sell. The town of Weddington cannot stop the sale of any parcel, nor can the town deny presentation of a development for a proposal based on community concerns such as traffic and schools. I feel it's imperative to educate those who do not understand the role and the duty of a planning board member. Our role is an advisory council. We use the land use plan as a guide, and we follow the Unified Development Ordinance. We ask questions for clarification. We make suggestions for changes from the developer. We, of course, can have our personal opinions. However, the driving force of all decision-making is, does this project follow our UDO and our interpretation of the land use plan? This particular project, from its original plan proposal up to now, does not violate any of our current development ordinances. It also would be against the law for our town to deny the developer the opportunity to present this project. It is with this understanding and the using of our land use plan as a guide that we as an advisory board make decisions. When Weddington was incorporated, our town government was set up with residents electing a 4-person council and a mayor to make decisions for all of Weddington residents and the future of this town. They have been elected by the residents. Doing what is believed to be right versus what is popular or unpopular is a difficult task. We are currently a town of 13,707, with a large majority of these residents unaware of the politics going on in this town. Because of our size and our low taxes, we are limited to what the town can provide our residents. We do not have a park or rec maintenance crew. We do contract our police protection, our fire and EMS. We don't control our roads, we don't control our schools, and yet we're trying to maintain the warmth and exclusive feeling of a true community.
Thank you. There you go. And I have that.
And y'all are rude. You just are rude. And you're
Bob Lockman. I'm sorry, Bob Lockman, Mr. Lockman. All right.
Greetings, Mr. Mayor, Town Council, fellow Weddington citizens. It's great to be here tonight to talk to you about the fashion. My name is Bob Lockman, Antioch Woods neighborhood, 1032 to be exact. And I represent Antioch Woods as I've lived there for 18 years. I've been on the board for 15, president most of the time. We're a small community with 36 homes. Thought you'd be interested in some of the demographics of how our people feel, because we have a good mix of young and old. Old like me, and our kids are all through school, and young because the last 5 or 6 years, a quarter of our neighborhood has turned over because new kids are entering the Weddington school system. And that's important because they're going to start filling up this place, much like my kids did as they graduated from this wonderful place. So, hard to see, 36, that's how many homes are in our neighborhood. We have 36. Because we just had our town meeting, our neighborhood HOA meeting, our dues collections and whatnot, and we offered some really good food, we had a good turnout at our recent meeting where we discussed this project. So between the attendance at our neighborhood meeting and the fact we went around and collected some dues, and I talked to a few of my neighbors, there's only 36, I was able to make good contact and have great discussions with 32 of the homes in my neighborhood. 21 of these homes have kids in this Weddington school system. So 21. That means that 15 are like me and they don't. So basically, our kids either are gone. We have 4 families that never had kids, 1 set of grandparents, the rest are like us. We had kids in the system, but we no longer do. Along with myself and my wife, there'll be 5 of our families that are looking to sell our large 4 and 5 bedroom homes and actually move along, assuming that more children will take and people with children will take our place. Of the 5, because we just had some wonderful discussion at our meeting, none of us will continue to live in Weddington. Not because we don't love it, we love the place, but we don't need the town to find us a place to live. I'm gonna head uptown with my wife. 2 of our neighbors are heading down towards the beaches, 1 to be with a set of grandkids down in Atlanta. So, of the rest we talked to, 30 of our neighbors, young and old, said they don't like this plan. 2 do. So there is some opposition. But 30 to 2, I wish the Panthers would win by that score. So please, young and old, all different phases. We don't need Weddington to find us a place to live. We're not affording to live there anyway. We're going to trade one high price for another. Let's reject this thing.
Tom McMillan.
Try it one more time.
Tom Miller. M-I-L-L-E-R, it looks like, unless.
Mark Miller?
Tom Miller? Mark Miller. Mark Miller. Tom Mark Miller.
Yes.
Not here, okay. Lauren Solomon.
Okay, my name is Lauren Solomon, and I'm in Highgate at 6064 Boggy Glen. I don't like talking in front of people, and the last time I was on the stage doing lip sync my senior year of high school, I am the first graduating class out of Weddington, so I am from here. I moved here when I was 9. I am now 38, so 27 years ago. When I walked in, my mom and my brother were actually speaking to the mayor, and he made a comment. He said he was concerned about Weddington 20 years from now. I am the Weddington 20 years from now. I plan to be here for that long. I chose to move back here with my husband after we worked really hard to afford to be able to move back here. And I want it to stay the same town that it is that I grew up in, that I want to raise my own children in. This is beautiful, and I know there's been a lot of work that's been put into it. It just doesn't fit where you have it positioned right now. And I've got friends, Becca, I went to school with her, and I respect everything that she said. I respect a lot of what people have said. And I know that it's a very divided group of people, but I still go back to what everyone said, and that is that the majority of people in this town are not for this initiative. And I appreciate all the work and energy that's gone into it. I just hope that you will listen to the constituents, that we love Weddington the way it is. It's why we chose to live here, to move here, to be here. And if I wanted to go to a town, I'll just go to Matthews, I'll go to Waxhaw, or I'll go to Waverly, I'll go to Ray Farms. I can get anywhere I need to be within a few minutes. I love the quaint place that I live now, and that's how I like to see it for my own children. I have 2 that are school age at Antioch, and I have 2 that are not in school yet. And we frequent the Uplands Park, where I also grew up, and it's hard enough to get there today. Please don't make it any harder for me. I'm a working mom with 4 kids. I need it easy, so keep it small.
Liberty Baptist Church.
Good evening, thanks for the opportunity to speak tonight. My name is Kimberly Brooks Church. I'm a 12-year resident of Weddington. I live in the Providence Woods neighborhood along with my husband and our 3 kids who attend our local public schools. I've always tried to be involved in my community. I'm a proud veteran first off. I've served the town of Weddington as a committee person. 2 terms for a committee for the town of Weddington. I teach Awanas at our local church. I'm on the PTO board of my kids' school, and a lot more, honestly. And I don't tell you these things to brag about myself or to boast, but to let you know that I always have been, and I always will be a very active member of my local community. So in a recent email to our mayor, I used a simple analogy that I'd like to share with you tonight. So like I said, I have 3 kids. If I were to offer my 3 kids an ice cream sundae, let them pick any flavors they wanted, they would gladly accept it. Now, if after offering this ice cream, you let them pick all the flavors and all the toppings, I said, but first you have to have a bowl of Brussels sprouts with it. Suddenly that ice cream is not so appealing. In fact, my kids would probably feel tricked by me by offering this good thing and then sneaking in some Brussels sprouts. And honestly, that's how I feel about what's going on here. I feel like when Mr. Walters talks about our community survey and our land plan recommendations, those were the ice cream flavors and toppings that were presented to us. Yes, they look fabulous. Yes, I love trails to walk with my kids. I love going out to our park. I mean, that's all beautiful. But am I willing to have the Brussels sprouts along with the ice cream? Honestly, no. And I would ask that you would poll your constituents and find out if the majority are really willing to take the negative with the positive. And this would be an example of a true leader, and I think that's the leader we all hope for when we voted for you to your position. Thank you.
Thomas Smith.
Thank you, Mayor and Councilman. Thomas Smith, 1840 Tanglebriar Court, Providence Place. I'm glad to be here tonight. I will say this has been a very divisive issue. I have written all of y'all and said I'm opposed to this program. And I'm not going to repeat what everybody's already said about the land use program. This is outside of it, the density of the program. But the precedent that this would set for every piece of property along Providence Road from the beginning of the county line down to where it goes to the south, it would open everything up. Everything would be on the table. And I'm scared the same precedent could again open it up on 84 all the way to Wesley Chapel. I think this would set unrestrained development for our town, which I fear, because we have a gem, a real jewel here, and we don't want to mess with it.
Thank you, Mr. Smith. That is all that have signed up to speak. Now, there may be, at the risk of the ire of some, there may be some folks that spoke before that at the last meeting that want to follow up. We're gonna leave the, oh, hold on. On advice of council, we have now closed the public participation part. Now, let me remind you of the process. I see it.
Just so you know, we were asked when we walked in, since we were spoken last week, if the developer changes some of the plans, you may want to have another talk, and we were told we could not sign up. So if that's what council's telling us, we weren't on the sheet, we were instructed by the person doing the signing not to sign up. I would suggest since Mr. Waters changed his position, changed some things, we should have a right to at least go through and speak if we have a desire to.
Objections? Come on up.
Before we start, I appreciate you doing 3 minutes. I appreciate you doing that. I think that's the right thing to do. So thank you,
As long as it doesn't get out of hand, No, fine.
No, I got it.
That's what we're here for.
Yeah,
Go ahead.
Don
Introduce yourself
Tillington.
with your name and address.
Yeah, Don Tillington, Greenbrook Parkway, Cottonwood South. First of all, Craig, I appreciate your comment about participatory government tonight. It's very important, and I would ask that when you have the planning session with the developer, that you have that session after work hours, say 6 o'clock or 7 o'clock. I know you have a session tomorrow at 9 a.m. There's a lot of working families here that would love to come and listen to that. And North Carolina School of Government actually says best practices to suggest and solicit town input. Second thing is the devil's in the details. So this keeps changing, and it has changed a lot. And I would suggest, again, if this needs to go back through the process, that'll be your determination. But I have not heard anything here about the 100-year storm for residential. He submitted 10 years for commercial. You're putting current residents at risk if we stay with a 10-year storm versus the 100-year storm, which residential is required in the town of Weddington. There is no sewer solution. Union County Board of Commissioners today voted this down, and any future sewer pump station will have to go through the county commissioners. That was passed today, this afternoon. I would suggest that if you approve this without sewer being approved, you're now giving him by right, and if he chooses to spend this property, it stays with the property, not the developer. That's a big concern. The second thing, no details out of the planning board. They should have advised around setbacks and buffers. Comment was made last meeting by this gentleman that there are buffers everywhere. There's actually not buffers in the commercial part of that. So the devil's in the details of the property. They talk about a brewery that does not fit with the regional, that's a regional commercial development. That doesn't fit with the one plan, land use plan number 9 that he took out. Again, nobody has limited that 100,000 brewery. That's a huge brewery. We're gonna have Old Mecklenburg Brewery coming here. They're doing development north of town. So I think, again, the devil's in the details. The cost expense of the park. If you check with some of the other communities around here, it's 12% of their operating budget. He's gonna pay to build it and operate for 3 years. Who's taking it over after that? That's gonna come back on the town. We talk about the sheriffs. We pay for them until certain hours every weekend, usually midnight. Bars open until 2. We're gonna have to extend the sheriff's hours. I personally take offense at the fact that people keep saying there's no sense of community. I've coached at that WCWA for 20 years. I ran a scout troop here for 10 years, okay? Put 76 families that were in that scout troop. You wanna talk about sense of community? I put half of the planning board members' kids together. That's how we ran. There's a huge sense of community in here. We don't need a bar, we don't need a restaurant for that community. We go to church here, we play sports here, we go to school here. And finally, I do think there's a conflict, because I went back and researched and found out that the town paid Ed Giuseppe, a city planning board member, to be a consultant on this project. That to me is the conflict. Thank you for letting me know.
Anyone else? Please come up to the mic and identify yourself. I saw Mr. Deere.
Yes, my name is Bill Deere. I live in Weybridge, Weddington, here in town. I'll be very brief. I think Don covered a lot of things. One question I had was, and this has kind of helped address it, the developer spoke at the last public hearing. Now everyone's allowed 3 minutes. We gave him 23 minutes for we gave him 23 minutes to make a whole new presentation. One of the comments he made that I thought was interesting, this is like the second or third time I've heard it, they would follow based on the 81 acres, they can get 88 40,000 square foot lots. How do you get 88 1-acre lots on 81 acres of land? And I'm assuming he's not including whatever the commercial portion is. If you take out the wetlands, the non-buildable areas, he's going to be lucky, excluding any commercial at all, to get 62 to 63 single-family homes. Something that council needs to look at. Definitions. If you look at our ordinances, the UDO, there are definitions in there that define what this is, what that is, and everything else. There are probably 30 to 40, I'm guessing here after perusing it, 30 to 40 items in the UDO that's in this plan that need definitions. What is a patio home? What is I don't know what the terminology was, what is a connected home? Those kinds of things. The council's got to go through a whole process to get these definitions into the UDO. And if you are going to change or expand the commercial area, you've got to go in. Exhibit 2 of the UDO is an actual map. The map clearly defines what is a definition, what the town center is. You've got to go in and change that map. Exhibit 3 in the UDO. Park support, I think the gentleman got up here and talked about the park. I approached the council 2 years ago about it. I approached the council earlier this year about it. $25,000 to support Optimus Park. Thousands, and I mean thousands, of children in Weddington use that park every single day. We're talking about a park, 8.5 acre park, and last number I heard was around $100,000 to maintain a passive park. Let's support the park we have, that the residents are using. I was told that the council didn't want to support a park, not support a park, you didn't want to support a 501(c), a charity. Our fire department is a 501(c), and we support them with $800,000–900,000 a year. So, thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor and Council, for letting some additional comments be made. I can't say anything better than what's already been said by everyone here. I think they pointed out some very important things that need to be considered. I did have a couple of comments.
I don't mean.
Joyce
You didn't
Fowler,
identify yourself.
Joyce Fowler, 1046 Bromley Drive. I
Thank you, I'm
apologize.
sorry to.
Yeah. The traffic impact analysis is a ream of paper thick. It's very difficult to get through, but I did get through some of it today. That impact analysis is based on an assumption that 2 major road projects will be completed by the Department of Transportation, by North Carolina. Apparently, one of those, the widening of Providence Road, won't even begin, if we're lucky, until 2027. And then another one won't begin until 2029. This proposal could be finished by 2027. It could take longer than that. But the road improvements won't even begin until this is finished. So we have not only all of that time to live with the traffic, additional traffic congestion, but we would be lucky if the road even begins then. We don't know, we don't have any guarantee that DOT will begin those projects even then. We have to remember that all of the promises that are shown, the pretty pictures and everything, is like, this is how it could look. That's not necessarily how it will look. The town can't restrict, even though we can have a plan on the paper, we can't restrict that it will look exactly like that. So that has to be remembered. There's a lot of detail in the development guidelines and standards. And just one provision says the property can be subdivided, and then it says, by the way, requirements that are met by the project as a whole, such as open space, tree save, and impervious requirements need not be met by individual parcels. So I don't even know if we are guaranteed that they will save as many trees as they say will save. I think there's a benefit to open space. I don't really like the commercial. I think the most dangerous thing here is the expansive commercial, which we all say we don't need and we don't want. So please reject this application. Yes. Let's go back to the drawing board and find something that's compatible with Weddington.
Okay. That closes the public participation portion of this. We will have for someone else, I didn't see anyone else, that's why I said okay. 2 more people. You, sir, and you, sir. And then we're gonna close this up. Yes, sir. Please identify yourself.
I will, yeah, John Murphy. Hey, man. I live in Highgate. Thank you for finally responding to my emails. So I do not have any prepared plans to talk, so I've got like 6 bullets that I do want to address.
Can you state your name again, please?
John Roper, R-O-P-E-R. So the traffic circle on Highway 84 and the ability to push a button and get traffic to stop. So you showed downtown Davidson, I think. I don't think the road that you showed has the word highway in front of it. That's Highway 84. That's one of the busiest roads I've seen. And the last time I checked, it took me 20 minutes to go to Optimus Park today. Yeah, my kids are there as well. And I can only imagine if the folks are going to use Harris Teeter like you say they are, they're going to walk the Harris Teeter because you're not going to replace Harris Teeter. How many times are they going to be pushing the button? All day long. So now we're backing up on the Providence Road. And it sounds like we're asking for a lawsuit by the NCDOT at some point. That we're now another highway. That's Highway 16. So schools are at an all-time high in attendance. My daughter, I've got one in Antioch, I've got one in Weddington Middle, and I've got one in Weddington High. We're not going anywhere. But I can only imagine, if this gets approved, if I had to go to my kids and say, hey, we're going to move to Marvin Ridge, they'd be devastated. But this is not what we signed up for. We moved from Charlotte. I can go to Charlotte. I run to Waverly. If I want to go drink wine at Fudscroll, I can go there. I don't have to come here. I get it. You said it last time. We don't own the schools. No, we don't. And I think the gentleman back here who's not here anymore, so he doesn't care. He said we don't have our own schools. We don't, but I don't think this is going to give us enough tax dollars to build our own schools. We do have schools that Union County provides us. They're in the town of Weddington. They're Weddington, or Antioch. Or some of us go to Reagan. It is our job duty and your duty to ensure that we're not making it worse. We have a chance to say no. The other thing, flooding, I told you about. I get it. You say my property is higher than this. I have no idea how that occurs because it's downhill the whole way to my house. But, and you say the water's not going to come our way. It only goes that way towards Arrow Plantation. So just so you know, if you live towards Arrow Plantation, he says all the water's coming your way. That's what he put in an email to me today. So, and I can tell you, I know what flooding looks like in Highgate. The pictures you showed of downtown Davidson, I've got 10 seconds. That's like 1/10 of downtown Davidson. That's not all of it. The other thing, put it to a referendum. Put it on the ballot. I heard Dana Stroke say she had financial gain from this earlier, from land surrounded it. Can you explain?
Thank you very much. There's someone back there that I said right here.
He's over there. He's over there.
Did you move? Well, you go ahead, sir. I'm going to ask you to wait for just a second. You go ahead. Okay. Please identify yourself.
I'm Bob Golden. My wife and I live at 564 Cotterfield Circle. Lived here 25 years. And we don't want another Waverly. It's going to increase traffic greatly. We don't want to be another Waxhaw. This will ruin Weddington. And also, the 1 acre lot is no longer the norm. That's why we moved here. Thank you.
Thank you. Here he comes.
Yes, my name is Jack Fowler. I live at 1015 State Lane. I'm going to say 2 minutes.
Repeat your address.
1015 State Lane.
I think he only used
Are you sweating?
I think he only used one.
Oh, that's what it was.
I just didn't get the sorry. Go ahead, go ahead.
Okay. What I have here is a formal, conflict of interest and ethics complaint. It begins with the conduct of Mr. Ed Kaczynski, professional engineer. Here's the timeline of events. February 22nd, Mr. Kaczynski attends the town planning board meeting as a member. March 8th, 2021, he resigns from the town planning board with Ed Kaczynski PE as his letterhead. March 8th, same day, he enters into a contract with the town of Weddington on the same day. The contract lists as a consultant. The signing of the contract also refers to the company name Waterside Consultant. There's a paragraph here in the contract on the first page that states, whereas the services being provided by the consultant is a utility management consultant and not engineering or legal advice. March 17th, he signs and dates his report with PE as his name. It's my understanding in Chapter 89C of the North Carolina Engineering and Land Surveying Act, the definition of practice engineering states consulting work involving planning the use of land and water and any connection with those utilities is engineering work. Mr. Kaczynski does not have a current PE license. It is inactive. There's some more background. Here's the interesting part. This is what we'll bring up. March 22nd, he was reinstated to the planning board at a 1 p.m. special town council meeting. March 22nd, on the same day, he attends a 7 p.m. planning board meeting. Now, as a full member of the planning board, he was appointed vice chairman of the planning board, although he never missed a scheduled planning board meeting. So, on March 30th, now a full member of the planning board, he went before town council and presented his report and recommendations, which is an extension of his work product. He cannot serve two masters. He can serve himself or the planning board. At a minimum, he should have been recused. He should have recused himself from the planning board vote on this property, because that was the basis of his contract with the town. Secondly, next, and the very last, I don't have much time. Got a whole detail of what he stated. Furthermore, there are 3 current town council members that were present for that March 30th meeting, knowingly knew that he was appointed to the planning board, but allowed him to speak and present his work product. Based on that, the 3 of you should recuse yourself from this vote. Thank you.
That closes the public hearing. We will, is there someone else? I'm sorry.
I had my name.
You're the last one.
My name is Chris Ross, Kachavik, it might say on my property. I live on Larkfield Drive in Weddington. One of the things when they talk about the walk across where the circle is, circles are put on so that so traffic doesn't stop. That's the purpose of a circle. So then you're gonna put something that makes it stop. And right up the road from there is where that officer stopped somebody going 90 miles an hour by Cox Road and Weddington Road. That's just an accident waiting to happen. That, along with the fact that since we had extra time, why can't the builder be answering some questions now in a public forum? Like, how big are these lots? I don't see how all of this fits into the same size area as downtown Waxhaw.
Right.
There's no way. How big are these lots that the houses are going on? And don't pee on my leg and tell me it's raining if those are for retirement community, because they're second story, they're 2-story buildings. I just think there's a lot of stuff, this park. I think that we should be able to ask questions in an open format with this. And then you'd get a lot more information too, because you'd have a lot more people asking questions. And I think that then your decision would be able to be made in even a better way. So I hope you would consider that and give us a little bit of time to ask some questions, because every plan I look at is different, and everything I read, the number of houses change. So how can you be making a decision in May with all of this unanswered and all of this changing stuff? So please consider that, I really would. Because I do think that there is sales going on here. And, you know, I've worked in sales, you know, but as the person that's being sold to, you really need to be able to ask all the questions. And this is a great format for people to ask. Okay, so I'd appreciate it if you think about it. Thank you.
Anyone else? Seeing none. Hearing none. We now want to close the public participation part at this point. Thank you all very much for being here. I believe that the developer is going to stick around for a while for anyone that wants to talk directly to him. We've got some business we have to conclude. We've got some business we have to conclude. But I'm going to take about a 5-minute recess. So we will reconvene at 8:45. 9:45. 8:45. 8:45. We'll reconvene. This unusual. Back to work. If you, wouldn't mind taking your conversations outside so we can finish our agenda. Appreciate it. We don't have any new business, so we now have an update from our town planner, and I assume that means our town administrator.
You want this? Oh, fine.
Do I need to? Can I just stand in front of you?
Yeah, go ahead. I'm gonna do some minutes.
So with the planner out of town, we have, I believe the April planning board meeting will be looking at preliminary plat, final plat for yes.
Okay.
And I believe that's it. There may be more utility bonds being looked at for Weddington Glen, so.
So MB Place is the only thing on the agenda upcoming for the planning board?
I believe so.
Next item of business is code enforcement report. That'll be you as well.
Code enforcement report is in front of you. I got received it just this morning, and I will post it with the rest of the package.
All right. And an update from our finance office.
Okay, you have in your packet the financial statements for the month of March. We are 3/4 of the way through the year, and we are about 98% collected taxes, so we're in excellent shape. At tomorrow's work session, we will go over next year's budget. If you have any questions, just let me know.
You said we are what percent collected?
98.
98%.
Yes, from budget. Actual levy might be a little bit less than that right now.
And what did we project? 98%? Did we project 100? We don't project 100.
Yeah, we projected in our budget 97.5.
So we did great.
Good. Thank you. Transportation report.
I guess that'd be me, Molly.
No.
No, well, you were on. Okay, I was on. So anyway, the transportation board, I went to the Charlotte Regional Transportation Planning Organization meeting for March. The mayor was at the mayor's coffee. And so anyway, the board did go ahead and vote on the 2050 Metropolitan Transportation Plan and the revised 2020-2029 Transportation Improvement Plan. And another big issue that was discussed that evening was the Independence Boulevard NCDOT Corridor Implementation Plan. That road is actually $1 billion project, $1 billion. That really obviously impressed me. And so what they've done at this point is they've actually divided it up into different sections and portions so that it could actually be handled and managed a little bit better. So there was a lot of discussion with Matthews. Matthews was not quite happy with some of the changes that they made because there was some parallel roads that were supposed to be helping the Matthews area. But anyway, the project for the $1 billion has been divided. And then another thing that came up that was a little contentious at that meeting was someone brought an unsolicited proposal for delivery of I-77 South Express lanes. And since the northbound express lanes did not go over too well, the unsolicited bid was not looked at very favorably. But we'll see where that goes, if there's any interest in soliciting for express lanes on the southbound 77. And there's not a meeting in April, so you and I are invited to meetings in May in person again. So they've gotten rid of the Zoom meeting and we will meet in person. Darn. That's it.
All right, thank you very much. Public comments, non-Weddington Green public comments. Do we have anyone either signed up or that desires to public comment? Seeing none, we close the public comments, and we just have council comments. We'll start with you, Councilman Perrin.
Well, for those that are left, I do appreciate you coming out. Don't meet in high school, don't very often, but usually it's for a very good reason. So I'm glad we were all here, got to hear everybody's speak. I would like to, again, just one more push about this woman meeting about ETJ. The reason this is important to us is that we've got, still have county property, unincorporated parcels of county property adjacent and within our town limits. There is no control the town has over what's done on those parcels. That is all under the county. So that's why Mr. Joyce is coming down from school of government. He's not only talking to us because we not only face this problem, but Wesley Chapel, Stallings, Mineral Springs, Marvin, we all do. I mean, all the townships kind of on this side of the county. And so he is going to try to help us figure out a way that we can approach the county commissioners to make sure we have a say in the type of things that go on these unincorporated parcels. And again, that is Thursday the 28th at 4 o'clock at Wesley Chapel.
I have no comments. I don't have any comments.
I just want to say,
I don't really think.
Relative to the 98% tax collection, I want to just do a special acknowledgement to Kim Woods, who is the tax collector for Weddington, for her hard work and dedication.
I want to remind everyone of the Weddington High School Marching Band fundraising effort. And please support Weddington High School. It costs about $3,000 per student to participate in this project, going to the Pearl Harbor Memorial and participate in it. It's a great opportunity for the kids, but it brings great good publicity for Weddington, North Carolina. I'm going to ask the council to take a look at the calendars for our work session with the developer on this project. We want to include everyone. I sent out an email last week with 3 date suggestions that work with Councilman Perriman's schedule, the 18th, the 28th, and the 29th. Let us know. Please check the calendars, let us know so we can get that calendar. And I think that's all I have. Any further comments? Hearing none.
One more, just thanks to the town staff. I know we're just kind of echoing what Shannon just said regarding Kim Woods' work. Thanks to the town staff for making this happen. I know this, this is the second time in a row we've had you all have to move us to a different place to have these meetings, and just thank you for all that hard work.
Yeah, these things don't just happen. It takes planning and execution. And Karen, would you please convey to all the town staff our appreciation, particularly to you, since you're the one that's up doing it all, but everyone, their support for us on the council and the citizens of Weddington. It's, as they say, a thankless job, but we're going to thank you anyway.
Appreciate it.
With that, it is 8:54 p.m. in this,
Motion.
A motion to adjourn. I have a motion to adjourn. All in favor, say aye. Aye. Those opposed, no. The ayes have it. This meeting is adjourned. Thank you.